Put your hands up.
Hey OGs, and welcome back to Openly Guarded. It feels so good calling y'all that, right? Hey OGs, and welcome back to Openly Guarded. I am your host Dimples, and I am so excited about the topic that we have to talk about today because just like all of the topics, this one right here is very near and dear to me. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today, I want to talk to you about why writing is so very important. And before we go any further, I have to tell you something and be very, very honest. There was a point in time in my life where I didn't realize how important writing truly was. I mean, I started writing very young and I started getting published very young, but I strayed away from it because it wasn't the cool thing to do. Like, I was already a nerd in so many other different dimensions, and at that time it wasn't so cool to be a nerd. It wasn't so okay to not fit in, to stand out, like in such a type of way. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you can step out and be Ari Lennox, like you could be, you know what I'm saying, you could be beautiful, you could be an Insta influencer, you can be a model. All of that stuff is acceptable to like shine and stand out. Like, she's super tall, she's skinny, she's cute. Like, that's okay. But to be smart and stand out, like, you were harassed terribly. And I didn't want all that. I already got enough flack for my crazy outfits and the way that I wore my hair sometimes, and y'all can go down the timeline, you will get it. But I just didn't want another thing for people to be able to pick on me about. So I shied away from it and I didn't show it as much. And my teachers noticed, but I didn't show it as much. But I always kept journals and I always journaled. And I always talked about like how I felt in my experiences, even in the house. Like, there's stuff in there that one day everybody will see, but not now. But I've always been a very honest person, and I've always been somebody who wanted to like get my point across, like just be understood. And sometimes when I would go through different emotions or be frustrated, I would want to get that energy off. And it's something about me that's always been true. When I write, I feel better about that, or anything, or everything, or whatever I read about. It could be a business plan or just an idea that I have floating around that I don't want to lose, but it's on my mind. It might be heavy on my spirit. So once I get it out, once I write it down, I feel lighter. So without further ado, let's get into why writing is so very important. And I know when I talk about writing, immediately people are going to think about movies, and they're going to think about authors, and they're going to think about even students. But writing is so much more than that. Writing is one of the only tools that we have to better understand ourselves when it comes to being clear about leadership, or being clear about being creative, or being clear about a speech or a conversation that you may need to have. Writing is a part of clarity. Through writing, you can achieve all of those things. To me, writing will never die. Writing will never be unimportant. So I'm very grateful that I got to a place where I learned that through continuing my journey to understand myself better, I've been able to reconnect with the writer in me. And that's one of the most beautiful passions that I have. And I have a lot of them, but that one right there is very therapeutic and nurturing to me. And those are the ones that I try to stick to. Writing can organize our thoughts. Our minds can move so fast sometimes. We could be anxious or we could be excited. Sometimes we have 20 different ideas fighting for our attention all in one time. And it could be overstimulating. And I'm the type of person, I do not enjoy being overstimulated. I don't. And regulation is very important to me. And having a system to regulate me is very important. And I'll do a little TMI with y'all right quick. Understanding makes me feel better. So no matter what's going on, the more I understand about it, the more I can educate myself about it through reading, it helps calm me down. So if somebody's like, hey, your hair needs to come out today, we have a shoot tomorrow, and it is at 4 a.m. and that's the only time they can shoot. So you're not sleeping today, you literally have to get your hair taken out, then we're gonna put you in the chair, and from the chair to get your hair done again, we're putting you on a flight. And then you're gonna shoot. And after you shoot, you can eat, you can sleep. Once you tell me what's going on, I'm immediately relaxed. And that just might be a me thing, but that's just it just helps calm my nerves. So for me, when I'm overstimulated, it's very, very, very important for me to find my tools of regulation. And that could be touching grass. That can be communicating with a family member that I love, that I miss. That could be confiding with a trusted friend. It could be a few different things that, depending on the circumstances, I will juggle through. I am somebody who is usually, when I'm anxious or there's too much going on or overstimulated, I'm usually like kind of frantic. So I need somebody who's grounded, and I'm usually going to channel or talk to somebody who can calm me down and then communicate with me. So I've been able to do that lately, and if you've been doing it, shout out to you. It's not easy trying to find a system for regulation, but I promise you, if you discover writing, it can help heal. And that's another thing that I want to move on to. Writing slows everything down. And when you slow everything down, like I said, you're able to get to clarity. And when you're able to get to clarity, you're able to get to a better understanding of your energy, what needs to happen next, and you're able to make very valid, careful decisions about what you want to do. I don't know anybody, including me, that can make a choice when you're thinking irrationally. And there's nothing wrong with being afraid or feeling overwhelmed or feeling anxious, but you shouldn't make decisions. You shouldn't make decisions when you're feeling those feelings, because you may change your mind when you don't feel like that later. So it's very important to take your time. And when you write, you can slow everything down. You have the power, and it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing tool. It's a gift. So yeah. So for example, just for example, this is a hypothetical, I promise. If I was to come into a room and I was to ask you, how are you feeling today? You might say, I don't know. But if I was to walk into a room and I was to say, can you write 10 minutes for me? Just how you're feeling today. Just tell me what's going on. Just tell me what's happening for you in this moment. I'm sure you'll discover that you knew a lot more than what you thought you did. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Writing creates clarity. When you write, not only are you able to record your thoughts, but you're also able to develop them. Some of the greatest writers, some of the greatest speeches, some of the greatest books, business plans, movies, some of your favorite songs started on a messy notepad or one random sheet of paper. When I used to watch the movie 8 Mile, and this is not a movie of the day, when I used to watch the movie 8 Mile, one of my favorite scenes that I would connect to was when he was on the bus and he was just, spitting his rhymes, and he was in his own world, and he was in his own mind, and what he had going on didn't matter, and the fact that he was living in a trailer didn't matter, and the fact that he was a white boy trying to rap at a black situation or event didn't matter. It was a man chasing his dream, and he literally was a writer. He wrote. Some people are very talented, and I don't knock that. They don't need to write, but other people, I'm other people, we need to write. It feels, it's a feeling. There's a rush there. There's a connection there. There's time standing still, and you're able to catch up with your own thoughts. It's beautiful, and it's an amazing tool, and I salute any and everybody who has truly stuck to their idealistic nature of being a writer, a passionate writer through, like I said, theater, cinema, song, poetry, comedy, however you get it out there, I salute you, and You are truly supported, and you are what makes the world go round, because without writers, we would have absolutely nothing. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We would have absolutely nothing. Your first draft doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be brilliant. It just has to exist. And that's one of the biggest challenges that a lot of us face, making it exist. And writers are amazing because our thought processes are long and they're deep, and the analysis is very, it's a lot of self-reflection in it, and it's a lot of compassion. Are my readers gonna get it? Are they going to understand? Will they feel? Are they going to feel all the things that I want them to feel? And a lot of times you can't tell, and you won't know. And I say, if you're really about it, put out a tester, put out a little piece. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, and make sure you do your licenses and get your non-disclosures, but give them a little taste, a little snippet, a little tease, a little trailer. If you buy it, if you're not, then you know. Maybe you waiting on tomorrow, but I promise you that it's not waiting. It's not waiting for you. It's not waiting for you. Writing preserves your story, and I'm going to tell you something that scares the out of me. If you don't tell your story, someone else might, and they may not tell it as accurately as you would. When we think about family history and our prayers and journals and just random dialogue that we might jot down. I know the book that I'm writing, I know nobody can tell it the way that I'm going to tell it, so I'm not that worried. And if you feel like that, don't worry, just write, always write. Even if you don't know when you're going to publish, just don't stop writing, don't stop creating, because it's detrimental to your health as a writer. It's detrimental to your health to have habits and systems and times of the day and whatever you eat. You know what I heard? That great writers have the same meal, they sit in the same place, and they write at the same time every single day for the same amount of time every single day. Me, I'm a little bit of a junkie, okay? I've got journals, I've got little tiny books, I've got big books, I've got little tiny, I gotta get my rocks off. And it's not, the computer, the laptop, it just doesn't do it for me. Can I type? Yes. Do I like it? No. This is my baby. This is my friend. Mi amigo. But so people look at me like, you're really old, but it's like, babe, look, if we could really compare ages, like, you don't want to know how old. You don't want to know the tools that I work that don't exist anymore, okay? But I say that to say, writing is a huge deal. It's a big part of this world, and it's only going to get bigger. So, yeah, tap in. When we think about lessons learned, when we think about movies that were created, when we think about the victories that we've had, those things become our legacy. And it's true. Writing makes you a better communicator. You know what I noticed great speakers have in common? They're all writers. Pastors, they write. Comedians, they write. Anybody who cares about the words that are coming out of their mouth, they write. And I admire speeches. I mean, I get all teary-eyed and all of that stuff because the passion. Like, if you can write a story and you can make someone feel something, if you can write a song and if you can make someone feel something, that's tremendous. That's huge. It's a big deal. If you can write a script for a set, that's huge. And you're important and your value goes deep. And my heart goes out to anybody who gave up during the time that the writers were striking because they were not being paid sufficiently. They were not being paid properly when they are the exact, they're the exact oxygen of what 90% of the world, the population, consumes on a daily basis. Now, shout out to streamers and shout out to freestylers of the world that are truly authentic and truly organic, and they can just do it. That's amazing. But for the people who want to teach one day, to the people who enjoy the process and what it took to learn it and what you gave and how much it was worth, to those people I say, do not stop writing, do not stop creating, and do not stop doing it the old-fashioned way, because it's not wrong to do it the new way. But the way that it was done, the way that it was taught to me, seems to be the way to make a person truly, truly feel. And I know we have AI, and I know it does a lot of talking for us. So it's hard to tell who and what is truly the ideal thought of authentication now in 2026. But I beg you to do your research, and I ask you to look at the people who you admire and watch them people on a panel and see how they handle themselves. And I don't mean to say it that all great writers are great speakers, but majority of the time, they will be. I used to want to be a lawyer because all of the speaking that I would get a chance to do and all of the passion and the power and the way you can make people feel, I thought that that was my calling. So, but when I realized how much it cost and how long it took, I took the other road. Shout out to the club. What up? Sorry about that. The past just jumps out from time to time. But you don't have to become an amazing communicator all at one time. Like I told you before, things take practice and time to grow. But another thing, writing reveals growth. You'll always be able to tell who's taking the time out on their craft when you see them elevate, because it takes time writing. Even if they're working with people, even if they have a team, shout out to the teams that are behind the scenes and running things and don't say nothing and don't spoil non-disclosure agreements. I mean, like, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, but it ain't. But for the ones that are just in a place where their respect is upheld and they don't have to go through those measures and they're just like in the background existing and doing their job and being creative behind the camera that make everything happen. Those people are also writers as well. I could be sitting here and being fed this entire script right now from somebody who has written it, and they don't need spotlight. When it's your passion, you would do it for free, and people might look at you like crazy, like, I'm not doing nothing for free. Listen, joy is something that you can't always buy, okay? And you do your own research on that, but I know what I'm talking about. One of the most beautiful things about journals is they give you the opportunity to meet your past self as your present self, and vice versa. You get to find out what prayers were answered, what you were afraid of, what you were ambitious about, how things turned out. And it's, I'm kind of big on the end capsules of time thing. I keep bringing that up. But I really, really always wanted to have one of those little boxes where you put things in there from like that year or whatever. Let's say I had things from when I was 5 and I put it in a box and I buried it and then I went and looked at it. It's like something like that. I don't really know what that's called. You can look that up. But I never got a chance to do that because we moved all the fucking time. And if we didn't move, I wouldn't know where it was, you know? So, but I always wanted that. So writing for me was that. And even if we did move and I lost everything, I still know I did it. So it was huge for me. So I always kept journals and I always would write things down. So once I did that, those things were cemented for me. Sometimes they were good things, sometimes they were bad things, but either way, they were like permanently there. I still carry those things with me. I'll put it in our photo drop. Might not open it. If I open it, I don't know, but I will put it in there, at least the outside, and show y'all some stuff. And I also want to shout out some other writers. Robert Williams, rest in peace, Robert Williams. He was a famous comedian, and he always tried to bring life out of a situation. He was dealing with bipolar depression, and he decided to be a comedian, and he started his journey in LA back in the 70s, and it was harsh. It's harsh now, but I've always admired his transparency about his battle and what he was going through, and I always respected the hell out of his children just because they always just respected the memory of him. So rest in peace, Robert Williams, and yes, your work that matter. Yes, what you did when you were here, you touched people, and I was one of those people. So I hope that you're resting in paradise, and I love you for your work. Thank you. I'm definitely going to do Tupac Shakur. Shout out to Tupac Shakur. He was another one that made me feel like writing was powerful. He always seemed like, and I'm one of those people, I always want to see the best in people. And to me, Pac was good. He was a good man, and he stood for great things, and his mom stood for great things. But the Dear Mama lyrics that he wrote were impeccable. They were marvelous, and his handwriting is beautiful. So I'm gonna put that in my photo drop too. But I'm also going to give him his separate post, and everybody that I mentioned are going to get their separate post, because I literally went and found their original handwriting because I'm obsessed. So shout out to him and Maya Angelou. Shout out to Maya Angelou. I went and found her work as well, and I went and looked at Phenomenal Woman. Now I could not find Phenomenal Woman's original work, but I did find the poem, so I am going to put that in there. And I am going to put my tributes to each of these authors and these writers in this, because these were, and shout out to Stephen King too. I think I did Stephen King too. Shout out to Stephen King. I like what I like. Don't come for me. I didn't think that type of stuff existed. And it's like, if movies exist, those kind of books exist. A lot of movies that y'all love are based on books, and the books are better. Shout out to Harry Potter, but the books are better. And yeah, so sorry, I got lost. I'm in Harry Potter still. But if you're a nerd, me too. If you like to read, don't stop. If you like to write, please don't quit. And if you are a creator, we need you. We need your authenticity. We need your creativity. So please keep going. Don't stop. And if you've made it this far in the video, may the Lord continue to bless you, because baby was struggling, because I was just so excited, and I was just so happy to do this for you, because I needed to do it for me. And you know, when we're here, we're talking about real life, real stories, and real lessons every time. And I always want to bring you a little bit of me, if I can. If I got to guess, shorty got to do it. You know what I mean? Let them do the do-wop. But when it's me and you, I want to give you a little bit of me every single time. I want you to know that we're growing together. This is not a one-way street at all. So thank you so much for being with me so far through this video. Make sure that you double tap, like, subscribe, and only share this with somebody who truly, truly needs it and truly, truly cares, because we are building the OGs. We are building the garden, and in the garden, we don't pick, but we also don't quit. We're protected, we're open, but we're guarded, so you can't play with us like that. We're going to talk to you about what we got going on. We're going to share the stories, because we hope that you're initially involving the chat to evolve. But if not, do my prophet no harm. Unjournaling allows you to understand what lessons you learned. When you grow, you can't lie about it. It's going to be visible on you. People can tell, they can see, they'll be able to comprehend a different version of you, because they'll be looking forward to a different version of you. If I sat here and was like, I'm in school to become a therapist, you know, eventually my conversation would evolve, you know, because I'm expanding my mind, I'm writing more, I'm reading more, I'm doing more. So it would be transparent, it would spill over. So when you grow, it's visible on you, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Writing can become healing. It can become spiritual. And you know what time it is. It is time for me to give you the movie of the day. And the movie of the day is going to be Freedom Writers. And if you've seen the movie, shh. No, I'm going to spoil it anyway. But if you've seen the movie, I encourage you to watch it again with a set of fresh eyes, and I hope that you didn't see it recently. I hope you've seen it a while ago. And if you haven't seen the movie, please check it out. I'm pretty sure it's on Tubi, but Google it and make sure. But Freedom Writers is our movie of the day. This movie reminds me that writing can be more about healing. Writing isn't always about getting published. Sometimes it's just about being free. What lessons would you want your children or even your grandchildren to learn from what you've been through? If someone was to read a journal from you or something that you wrote 20 years ago, what would they learn from it? I don't believe that everyone should write a book, but I do believe that everyone should write something. You should write your prayers. You should write your fears. You should write your goals, ideas, dreams, because it's going to take writing for you to get to your next step, whether you know it or not. Whatever that may be for you. It may not have anything to do with being a coach. It may not have anything to do with being a comedian. It may not have anything to do with media production or being on camera at all. But I promise you, if you need to learn, you're going to have to write it down. I feel so old saying that. Get your pen and pad. You're going to need to write this down. Sorry. Write about what you're grateful for. Write your story, because you might think that you were only changing a piece of paper, but it might have actually just been changing you. For our word of the day, we're going to do reflection. And I love this word because usually when I talk to people, or Siri, usually when I talk to Siri, it says, you're doing a tremendous job with your self-analyzation this year. I mean, it's great at complimenting. And I didn't program that in. I just think that's the way that it is. But it's always telling me, like, I'm the type of person to reflect and look inward and try to think deeply and try to figure out what I can do to change the situation. The definition of reflection is just that. The act of reflection is to go within, think deeply about your actions, your emotions, and your decisions to gain wisdom or clarity. The book of the day I'm going to give you is The Artist's Way by Julian Cameron, which is a practical guide that uses writing and self-reflection to gain wisdom and help you overcome self-doubt and develop consistent writing habits. When was the last time you wrote something just for yourself? When was the last time you wrote a story that maybe you don't want anybody to see, or maybe one you want people to see? Thanks, OGs. I truly appreciate y'all for sticking around and being here. You know, this is the place where we talk about real life, real growth, and real lessons. So make sure that you come back, kick it, and comment in the comment section, like, share, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Share this with someone who cares, because you know we're building a garden. We're building our OG team, our squad, and we need consistent support. I'm gonna leave it at that. Until next time, peace. Because I actually need, I don't know. All right, let's keep it pushing. Do that thing for me. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Perfect. And Just go over there. 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 It's like 7 pages. I didn't have time to study 7 pages while I was doing. Come on. If you feel like they're gonna have a puff, move. Because I'm looking at your eyes naturally. Just go. If you're gonna have a puff. This is the last thing we gotta do, and we done. So you don't gotta do that. All I gotta do is wrap up one more motherfucking paragraph. It's like 3 lines. Just hold me down. I camp, because I freed a lot of this shit. Practical God. Bitch needed bloopers. This OG.
Put your hands up.